good morning, good
Good
morning.
morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to NUFC Talk TV. Now we're back with a live presser reaction and showing, of course. So welcome everyone. Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Become a member if you can for exclusive content. We should get back to that as well this week with matchups. Enjoy the full time review a day after every match with highlights and exclusive images from each game, and that's also great, as well as the player scores after every game, and yeah, a lot of stuff for members. So become one, especially for the NTTV Plus tier members. So there we go. Now we're going Eddie Howe in the next 20 minutes or so. He should be coming up to have his say as far as how he's going to get us back on track after a long 2 3 weeks, maybe a month of celebrations, dang near, and
Still going on, still going on.
still going. My apologies for my somber tone. It is 3 in the morning in the United States of America, and I am just waking up.
I'm knackered.
Oh my god, man, I'm tired. I am exhausted. But we're here anyway. Hit the like button, as we said, and yeah, we're back on it. We're back on track now. It'll be great. We got a game on Wednesday, but which is tomorrow, literally, and at home against Brentford. So should be good questions, all about how Eddie's going to get us back on track, which is not going to be an easy task, I don't think, but he certainly is the man for the job, isn't it?
He certainly is. Said it all along. Won't say I told you so, but I told you so.
Well, he's proven that he can win. That's a big deal. And that's a big deal. And by the way, don't expect much from the questions. The journalists still are who they are, but maybe it will be a joyous press conference and full of sunshine and rainbows. But I don't know. We shall see. Steve, they're saying don't be surprised if we tank the Wednesday. Too much partying. The Wednesday match. I mean, it could happen. A lot
No,
of people have been saying that.
I think Eddie got it just about right. He was saying after the final, he said, they'll be going out and those that aren't going on international duty can go out and enjoy the moment. But after the parade yesterday, apparently there was no drinking, and as Gary was telling us, back to graft this morning. So, in fact, did he say they had them in on Sunday morning? I think he said they had them in on Sunday morning.
Well, that would be a statement practice if that's the case. Training, you know.
So, I mean, I think that will come up in the presser. I don't think it'll all be flowers and roses. I think it'll be what are you gonna do to make sure that this win is a kickstart and not an anchor on the season.
Right. By the way, Steve is telling you right there, you wanted him out by Christmas. So, just letting you know, man. People are letting you know. People are letting you know
never,
what's
never,
happening.
never. What
Oh,
I
you
said,
did.
what
You
I
did
said
say that
was,
though.
I said if we weren't 3 points within 3 points of Champions League at Christmas, he had to go.
Well, all right then. So what's
Well,
the issue?
we were,
Be
and
well,
I
exactly.
always had every confidence we would be.
And that's the same as me saying, now we've won, so of course we want him to stay. But you would say, oh, it's just an opportunist. Now that we won, you never backed them. No, it's the same thing as you say.
No, it's not the
So
same thing as I
it,
said.
yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
No,
'Cause-
because I said all along that we would be there.
well, I'm not a fortune teller, so I can't see the future. I can only say,
That's the difference. You see, I am a fortune teller.
okay, well,
I
then,
know how good he is. I know how good he was going to be.
well, that might be a talent that you have. That's fine. But he did it nonetheless. So that is the important thing of the matter. He was able to get it done, and so very excited for what's to come. And we're still in the league. I don't think that we're gonna get the double, but I think the impossible for me um, is getting second. third, second more than anything. To me, that would be the impossible. I don't think you need Liverpool to fall off and also us to do everything
we know
perfect.
that. Liverpool
So
have got to drop 9 points for us to win the league.
exactly. So I just don't see that. But I could see. I mean, second place, that is massive. I mean,
Good
that would
morning,
be
all.
massive. Good morning. Good morning. Gary's in the building, and so can we do that? I don't know. I mean, dethroning the all-time second place, winners who are Arsenal for the last 5 years. That would be a massive blow to the Premier League. To be fair,
Well, also, it would not only match Keegan and Dalglish, but it would surpass them because it's finishing second and a trophy.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it could be possible.
As
Could
far
be
as
very-
I'm concerned, he's already done it. By winning the trophy, he's
Well, he's certainly done that. Yeah. And good morning, Gary. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes.
looking sharp,
Again,
son. Looking sharp.
getting excited. You know what I mean? It's the eve of the game, and it's been a long time coming, guys. From the highs of the cup win to the lull of the fortnight international, and it's been well, like I said, I've been like you, Chris. I've had just like a massive hangover. Couldn't be
Yeah.
bothered to do anything. Couldn't be bothered to watch any football. But by God, I'm excited about tomorrow. I think it's going to
Yeah.
be a good one.
Every match. That's one thing that I'll never say that. I never expected to feel as depleted as I felt after the final, but it happened. But that has never happened. Like when I think about the game or doing the commentary for the game or doing something like that, automatically starts the excitement starts coming back. So that's a massive sign for me personally, saying that I'm still in it. That I'm not ready to retire and give them and pass the mantle to the mighty win. So I'm good. I'm good, and but, get excited about every game though. That's the most important. We played against Brentford at home after the final. That's also going to be an emotional game,
Yeah, the
'cause
atmosphere should be electric, shouldn't
it's
it?
going to be the first game that we're back, after winning a final. So that in itself, what is War Flags going to do? Is that going to?
Well, I tell you what, that would be a good question for Eddie. Actually,
Mm.
are you going to parade the cup before the game?
And a lot of people are going to have an issue with that. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest.
Well, what I would say to Eddie is, how's about we'll parade the cup if we win
At the end,
after the match?
yeah, that could be a thing.
That would be a bit of an incentive for them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't see them before the game. Actually, I couldn't see that. I mean, that's just too. That's kind of a dig at Brentford. It almost feels like a friendly game. If you do that before the game, so I wouldn't see that.
All I would say about that is I've got my misogynist head on, and I'm saying if they've had it at the women's game, they should have it at the men's game.
Well, yeah, I don't know. They did do it before, so yeah. I mean, but that is not parading it though. That's not like two guys just walk on the pitch for a second and then get them off, and they're not the players. So that was.
Yeah,
that's the
I
difference.
tell you what, they could maybe have. I don't know if Al Ramayan's here or whatever, but they could certainly have like Darren Neal's go on with it. Maybe it's Bobby Monk there as well.
Bobby Moncourt, he was the last one to do it back in the old days.
He was emotional at the girls' match, wasn't he, when he presented it against the women's versus the Mackhams. He was very tearful, Bobby Munker.
Yeah, I wonder if it would have been a good one to bring in the former players, former managers that try to do it, like Kevin Keegan.
Kevin said he'll not come back till we win something, and
We'll see what he does now. Yeah, exactly.
see what he does now, aye.
Kevin Keegan, Bobby Robson's son, still around, and so could be something, could be, but I think it would be something more club related than player related. I don't think the players did celebrate already. They've tossed the cup around. I think they need to focus on the game. To be fair, you know.
There's Kevin Bell there saying, I don't think we should parade the trophy at all tomorrow. We did that Saturday. We'll have to refocus, forget the cup for now, and nail these last 10 games. No distractions.
And Sebastian there says the cup has been celebrated enough. Well, have a point.
Cup
Have a
will
point.
never be celebrated.
Well, as far as the club, you know, is concerned, maybe that's have a point. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's we also can't lose track of what we got in front of us.
I think that's a bit sour though, Steve. He's saying you may as well parade at every home game for fuck's sake. Nah, I don't think that's fair. You know, the first game after it's Howe.
It's the first game. Yeah. Beard, Tonali, Shar out for this. Are they? What's going on?
Oof, I don't know.
Tonali's out.
Oh, actually, I did hear that Tonali was hurt in the international game. Maybe, but I don't think out. I don't know. Listen.
Well, we'll know in a couple of minutes.
I've been out myself. Well, or not though, because if the journalists don't ask for it, Eddie's not going to volunteer for it. I tell you that.
No.
So
I've not heard much, I must admit.
Yeah, I have not heard about Anthony Gordon. Maybe that's one I heard, but I don't know. I think that he may be in good shape again. So, not sure.
Well,
but what I know,
according to Prem injuries, it's just Lewis Hall, Botman, Lascelles, and Gordon.
April Fool, though.
Oh, April! Oh, you twat!
Yeah. There you go.
April
Pinch punch
Fool.
first
It's
of the
the
month.
first
Yeah,
one,
there you go.
Come on, man.
There you go. Bang.
Yeah. He was fatigued in Italy in the game. That was all I heard. Yep. It's a fake account that said that. Yeah. But good morning, Boki, in the chat as well. What I do know is that you guys need to hit the like button. So please do that right now. Hit the like button and help us grow the channel. Don't forget that tomorrow we get back to action an hour before kickoff with the pregame build-up and then the live match commentary tomorrow, which is tomorrow. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk to the lads what's happening tomorrow because it is midweek, and it's a home game, meaning the win is at the stadium, and I'm at work. So Gary,
Yes.
I'm looking at you.
You can. I'm here. I'm done.
Jake and Ryan 2020 says yes. Taking the piss. We celebrate until the next cup.
Next cup. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Love it.
That's good. That might be 70 years. You know. That's a lot of drinking.
It is indeed.
I tell you what, in 1955, there was nobody thought it was going to be 70 years for the next one.
No. Especially after going. Did we go to a final after that? Well, I mean, we did. I mean, but not immediately after. I don't think we waited until 74.
74 for the next one. That was 19 years.
Yeah. David Cook, that's crazy. That should have been a record in itself. David Cook, is tomorrow's game on TV in the UK legally? Well, I have no clue. What do you guys think?
I'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out, and we'll tell you what. If it's legal, what channel you can watch it, but you can always enjoy it with us in the background or listening to us radio style if that's what you want to do, because we always got good stuff going, and you help support the channel.
UK TV, none.
Nothing.
Okay, then. Well, so none. So you get to watch it. You get to watch it or listen to it via us. Via NUFC Talk TV, so please join us, and we'll be there to have a good old country time. Stephen Harker, and I can give you a free effort. No, we don't do that. We cannot do that. Jordy Dan, best April Fools. The day was Mike Ashley is buying Sunderland. Oh, wow. And people will fall for that? That's crazy. Well, I tell you, it wouldn't surprise me. He's not bothered about what club, as long as he can buy one and make money off it. Jenkins says,
I tell you what, he would make money off Sunderland.
He would.
Probably would. All funny fact. I just got from Evermore. Brentford have scored from their first shot 9 times, and Newcastle have conceded from the first shot 9 times. I'm not understanding.
I don't know how they would get those stats. I'm not disputing it, but
Wow.
sounds a bit weird.
Yeah.
Something we can look at.
Anyways, 4 minutes left, and Eddie Howe should be coming up any moment. And so please stay on. Enjoy the presser. As he might ask some good, he might be asked some good questions, maybe.
I think it's just going to be all about the, getting back on it from winning the trophy, things like that. I mean, there's going to be lots of, I would imagine, celebratory conversation. What did he think about the parade? Blah 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 blah. But I mean, there's a part of me that he's. We said it last night. The hangover and everything else. You've just got to get it off. And like we said, Eddie's the type of coach, gets them straight back in on Sunday and works with them until tomorrow morning. At a tactic that hopefully gets us past Brentford. And as after it looks, Brentford have been one of those sides. I mean, we'll go into it more at 2:00, but they are one of those sides that you just never really know what Brentford are going to turn up. When they turn up and play, they're a side that can beat anybody. These are no pushovers at the end of the day, and they've got a couple of lads in there that I wouldn't mind, instead of them being in a red and white shirt, I wouldn't mind them being in a black and white shirt, to be fair.
Yeah, and Boomer one of those.
Was,
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I'd take Wissa, mate. I'll tell you something now. I'd take Wissa as a backup.
I like Wissa.
Yeah.
I'd take them both.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't. And by the way, I said this when fans didn't think I was very clever for saying that, but Wissa is a solid backup, and maybe that's just what we need.
Except he will probably rightly consider himself to be.
Well, I'm sure
better than a backup.
I'm sure that's part of it. No player wants to be second fiddle, but he understands that Isak is at another level. So but that would be great. I like Wissa, old school. He's bald. I mean, I like those strikers. What did you think of the drone display by Sela, Eddie? Oh, the Luis question. The Luis question. Well, listen. To be fair, she's not the only one. There's other fellas.
Numpties.
That ask far worse. So I think she gets a stick because she's a Macam, or she works for the Macam. I don't know. She covers them, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, there is a bit of, I think, misguided sense that Brentford somehow have the Indian sign over us. They've only beaten us once.
Yeah.
Since 1993.
Yeah, they don't beat it.
And by the way, they beat us, if you remember last season, they beat us 4-2.
Yeah.
But if Isak puts that goal in, when he beat the keeper and dribbled round the keeper and went to try and put it on his right foot instead of shoving it in with his left foot, it's 2-1 to us. And it's a totally different game. So
it's all. That's what I said. I mean, it is all ifs, buts, and maybes, isn't it? It's small margins.
All right, we got Eddie Howe, ladies and gents. Let's pause for a second and listen to the gaffer.
Morning. Morning, chaps. Morning. How are you? Okay.
Morning everyone, welcome back to the media centre. We are here obviously ahead of Brentford tomorrow evening. Usual things on your microphones, it's been a little while. Please keep your phones away from them if you can. And we'll start with Razor, please.
Good morning, Eddie.
Morning.
Before asking about Brentford, can we just have some more words about Saturday, the parade, and then the event on the Town Moor? I mean, it was a really special day, wasn't it, for everybody connected with the club?
Yeah, an amazing day. Still some vivid memories of it, and I think just a massive thank you to everybody that turned up. It was cold, so for the supporters to wait like they did in those conditions was an incredible effort. So yeah, big thank you.
obviously not everybody that wanted to be at Wembley could be at Wembley. So how nice was it to be able to have those moments on Saturday with so many more people, estimated 300,000 across the day.
Yeah, it just goes to show, I think, the numbers that we have that are willing to support the team. And as you say, not everyone could get to Wembley, and we know football is expensive to either to travel or to buy tickets for games. So that was an opportunity for everyone en masse to come and support the team and show their love. And it was an amazing day, and it shows the power that football possesses, that it can change people's mood, can change the city's mood. And I just think it was a great day for everyone connected with Newcastle.
And as big as the last couple of weeks have been, how much are you looking forward to playing again tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we are. I think we enjoyed the break. I think we enjoyed sort of the line going through the cup final, knowing we had a bit of time to absorb what happened in that. What we do, and we're still in the middle of the season, so it's quite a long break, and we've had to try and navigate that as well as we can, with all the emotion around the game that we've just had. Hopefully we're ready to play. Of course, we've had a split group, we've had quite small numbers. Only recently we've now got the group back together, and I think we're focused on the next match.
And how exciting could the next couple of months be, because you're in a really strong position in the Premier League, 10 matches to go, and having had great success a couple of weeks ago, there's still so much more than you can achieve, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and I think it has been a case of resetting and looking at our goals again in a different way. We need to put what happened against Liverpool to the back of our minds and now really focus on the future. As you say, 10 games, 10 great opportunities for us really to grab and try and turn our Premier League season into a memorable season, as well as the cup final. So we're looking forward to it. Hopefully the lads are boosted and have renewed confidence in what we can be, because against Liverpool I thought we were outstanding, and that's now how we'll be measured against.
And finally, Brentford, who you beat in the League Cup in December, just a couple of weeks after you played them in the Premier League, which is one of your biggest disappointments of the season, probably, that result and performance. I guess you know how good and how dangerous they can be.
Yep, absolutely it was. It was a very difficult day, that one. Looking back, I think it acted as a bit of a catalyst for us in terms of regrouping, trying to change our season's momentum. After that, we went on a really good winning run. We had some thorough analysis of that game and sort of where we were in that moment. So we know that Brentford are a very good team, and of course, yes, as you said, we played them in the Carabao Cup on the way to the final. That was another tough game. So we know their strengths, very good. Thomas has done an incredible job, very good from set plays, still got some really big strengths in their game. And their away forms sort of turned around. Early season, it was their home form was really strong. Now their away form is really strong. So they've been free scoring as well, very high scoring team this year. So it should be a good game.
Thanks, Reza. Keith?
Eddie, I guess it's an unusual position to be in, sort of 3/4 of the way through the season. You've just won a cup final, and you've got, as you said, there are 10 huge games to come. How do you go about ensuring the players retain that focus and there's not any hangover from the cup final?
Yeah, I think we've tried to do a lot of work in between the lads coming back together. We trained really hard in Dubai, and we had a sort of a group of, say, 3 or 4 really hard training sessions back here. But now the group's back together, we've really tried to refocus on the future, and I think that's always the important thing. There's always another game, there's always the next moment, and we have to focus on that and not look back too much in this moment. So that's what we've tried to do, and yeah, we're excited about what we can be, because I think the Liverpool game, as I said, was a great performance and showed the capabilities the team has. Now we need to try and hit that consistently.
I know you wanted to enjoy the cup final, but be honest, when did your mind switch? At which point over the last 2 weeks did it switch to Brentford?
Really honestly, it was the next day after Liverpool, because it's just how I'm wired and it's how I'm built, and I tried to sort of have a word with myself and change how I am, but I couldn't. So I was back watching the Liverpool game the next day, on my own, analysing the game and going through it for what we need to improve. So that was, I can't change who I am, and so I enjoyed that because it was a good performance. You always enjoy when you play well, and then it was a case of watching Brentford the same day and straight back to work.
Gone quite easy on yourself this time around, then, yeah.
Yeah, I gave myself a night, so that was quite rare.
You've obviously got you had a few injury problems going into I can't remember if it was before or after the West Ham game now, but one of them being Sven Botman. Have you got any time scale as to when he'll return?
Yeah, Sven's not too bad. He's had an operation, a very minor operation, just to clean out a bit of floating bone that was in his knee that was causing him the problem. I think the initial diagnosis, was between 6 to 8 weeks, but I think he's already got through 2 or 3 of those. So he's on the road. He's feeling good. Fingers crossed we'll see him probably in May sometime.
And Anthony Gordon, after pulling out of England?
Yeah, Anthony has a really nasty bruise in and around his thigh, stroke groin area. He's up and running, feeling quite good. He hasn't trained with the group yet, so we anticipate to do that within the next few days, hopefully.
And just finally from me, those scenes on Saturday, I think you'd describe it as mind-blowing. Are those the sort of scenes that you think could sort of attract other players to come to Newcastle in the future and say, look, this is what we've got here, this is the emotional connection with the fans, and also, allow, hopefully, to keep certain players at the club, and they might have felt that emotional connection on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it can only enhance that, Keith. I think it's very difficult to say whether it have a tangible effect in the transfer market for us, but I think we've seen the power of Newcastle in a positive force globally. I'm sure the world's looked at us, and whatever your opinion on how we've reacted to the cup win, you can see the city's united. The football club is incredibly well supported. There's a connection that's unique, and I think that only puts us in a really positive light.
Thanks, Keith. Andy?
Not Eddie. There were, I think, fans falling from trees, they were perched on statues, etc. But in amongst all of that chaos, when you saw your kind of flag being draped over that, what was that moment exactly like for you as a person? Take away the football manager, what was it like for you as a person?
I think you've also missed heads going through advertising boards, which was a unique one. So there were some sites there that you think, there was one particular person, I think, how's he got there? And how's he going to get down, more importantly? That's the other amazing thing. So it was incredible. But yeah, the flag moment was totally unexpected. Didn't know it was there, didn't know it was coming. I think you're sort of always in a little bit of shock in those moments, because it's never about one individual, it's never about me, it's always about a team. But there was just a lot of thanks from me to the people that thought of that and then contributed to delivering it, and it was a great moment for me personally to have that connection with the city, with the supporters, to acknowledge that they know that I'm trying for them and giving my best in the job. That's a really great thing to have.
We've asked how the players have reacted. How does your family react to seeing scenes like that in Newcastle? Because you've talked at length before about how comfortable, how settled they are in the city, how much they belong in the city they feel. How did they react to seeing those scenes on Saturday?
Very low key, which is probably good. I don't think they sort of necessarily saw and experienced what we saw and experienced. I think they were in another area. So I think they're very happy, obviously, and they're embracing everything. But they're kids, that they bring me back down to earth very, very quickly in a number of ways. So only in obviously a nice way, but you're sort of back to being their dad again. And I think for me, in this time of my life, that's so important to have that relationship with them.
There's a famous quote from Kevin Keegan that's been doing the round. Newcastle will have their club back. The fans will have their club back. Do you feel like that is now, that Newcastle as a city does have their club back after what's happened over the last fortnight?
Yeah, it's very difficult to actually quantify that and sort of give a definitive moment when. But I think it's the unity. The unity is key. I think. I'm not going to talk about historically what's gone on at the football club. That's not my position to do so. But I can talk about since I've been here, and I felt that unity. And that's the only chance you have to be successful. Truly successful is to have the club as one, and that's from the top right to the top, right to the bottom. And that's with the supporters and the players having that relationship where we're helping each other, not the other way around. And I think on the pitch, you've seen that teamwork work brilliantly. And I have to say, looking at Wembley again in isolation, the support we had that day definitely made a difference. Between players and supporters, we helped each other. And without a doubt, the supporters helped our performance.
Just finally, you've talked about kind of where the fans were on Saturday, the various different perches that they found. You've talked about the passion that they showed. How does the team replicate that sort of passion in this first game back at St James's Park tomorrow night against Brentford that the fans have showed in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think we've got to be careful because obviously the players need to go out in a controlled way. Yeah. As we did at Wembley, I think there was a really good balance from the players in the sense of we knew it was an important game. Obviously a very important game, but the players just played what has been natural to them in recent weeks, concentrated on getting the details right. And of course played with emotion, but not too much emotion. And I think that's, again, absolutely you hope with the quality we have, it's enough.
Thank you.
Sorry for being late, by the way.
No problem.
Looking back to the parade, what was like your core memory moment where you're like, if I'm an old man, when I'm an old man, that's the moment I'll be looking back on.
I think I'm already an old man. What was the moment? I don't know if there was sort of one. I think it was just the sheer number of people. I think that every corner we turned, you think, well, it's going to back off in a second, but it didn't. If anything, it got stronger and stronger. So I think it was the sheer number of people. And as I said, I think at the time, not just the number, it wasn't just people clapping politely, it was people really in the moment and really showing their passion for the football club. And if anything, that's another lesson to us to respect the positions that we're in and work as hard as we can to continue to bring success.
Your Brazilian players were the life and soul of the party by all accounts. Joe Linton having his own celebration, Bruno Guimaraes being the captain and life of the locker room. In terms of the synergy between Brazilian football culture and Newcastle, is that an avenue that you'll be looking to explore a bit more in the future?
Well, yeah, I think when you look at our two Brazilian players, they've got a lovely personality and they enjoyed the win. I mean, they have a unique way of celebrating. Bruno through singing, obviously, and everyone got the sample of his singing voice, which I keep telling him was very strong. And Joey had his own celebrations and then came back with the group. And yeah, they both bring a great energy to the squad, and you need that. So if they're two sort of standard bearers of how to conduct yourselves, I think they're right up there.
And just looking towards tomorrow's game, you won't need any more motivation given what's happened at the weekend, but has it been touched upon that Brentford was probably your toughest lot of the season and looking to turn around that result? Yeah,
absolutely. I think the players are very aware of that game, and the memory of that game still lives with us to a degree. I think our training's been very consistent. We had a little break after the final. Then we got back to work pretty quickly, and I've got no doubt the players will be ready for the game.
Cheers, Eddie.
Thanks, Adam. I got to Damien and then Gary.
Hi, Eddie. As crazy as it might sound after the last couple of weeks, could Champions League qualification arguably be a bigger prize given the financial implications for the club?
Yeah, I think there's no doubting the power of Champions League football. Can be game-changing in terms of revenue and also in terms of what it means and the competition and then, of course, the changes that you have to make to be ready for the Champions League football. And that changes everything, as we found last year, to our cost to some degree with the extra games. And so, yeah, there's a lot to think about. But I think for us, qualifying for that is going to be very, very difficult. There's, as we know, 10 games. There's a lot of teams competing for those places. It's one of the tightest Premier Leagues that we've seen in recent times. Very little between those teams competing for those places. So it's going to come down to who's the most consistent. Of course, we want that to be us, and in these 10 games, we're going to have to give everything to get there.
And 2 seasons ago, after the final, as a staff and a squad, you regrouped and went on a really good run to finish where you did. Can you draw upon that experience this time around?
Yeah, well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because that's not been lost on us. I think the pain of losing the final, although it obviously was a big disappointment, fired us in the Premier League. So we used that pain to, I think, win 8 out of 10 games, which was a brilliant response. And how are we going to respond to success? That's a really different feeling, totally different feeling. But I think we need the outcome to be similar. It needs to fuel us. It needs to help us, not hinder us. For those things to happen, there's going to have to be a good reaction from the team. So that's probably our big test now.
Thank you. Go to Gary, Ian, and then Scott.
Morning, Eddie. You just touched on it there, but after such the emotional high of finally achieving that first trophy, how do you ensure that, one, the eye of the tiger remains for more silverware and success, but also how can your players make sure the fans still have that thirst and hunger for more to drive you on?
Yeah, I certainly think from the players' perspective, I set the tone, if you like, and I think consistency from me is hugely important to how we prepare, how we train, my message, my drive. I think then the players hopefully will see that nothing's changed. We've won something, but ultimately now we still have to improve. We still have to grow every day. So that would definitely be my message to them. I think for the supporters, I think the supporters will understand that that's one moment in isolation, but the journey never stops. And now our craving for success is even stronger internally. It should be. And I think the supporters will back us in turn.
And speaking of the supporters backing, I think 6 of the last 10 games are at home, but you've lost, I think it's 3 out the last 5 at home. Is that something that's concerned you, or can you put that down to anything?
Yeah, our home form's been a bit scratchy, as you say, in recent weeks. We've had a couple of painful defeats. So yeah, I think there's been lessons to learn from those games. They've been tough experiences. I think we went through a spell where we weren't defending particularly well. I think we've seen a big upturn in our last 2 games, West Ham and Liverpool. But the challenge never stops. It gets greater. Brentford will have had a long period between their last game. They'll be looking at this game ready, and obviously they'll have their own thoughts on their season. So we need to be ready for the test to come.
Thanks, Gary. Ian?
Eddie, every manager after a big occasion wants to ride the wave for as long as possible and avoid anticlimax, and clearly you've taken every step that's the case. But is it just about your preparations, or is there a psychology involved in it, for argument's sake?
Yeah, I think psychology is a huge thing. It always is. And you need to try and identify where your squad's at and what it needs. Now, there will be a confidence lift for sure after the Liverpool game, but that you've got to be careful that it doesn't go into a negative effect for you. You've got to try and use it for the positive. So I've seen a really good reaction from the players, I have to say. Now, of course, we split, as I said, a lot of players went away, so we weren't a full group together. But the players that stayed worked hard, and they were very focused, conducted themselves really well. So I haven't seen an overreaction. I've seen the type of reaction that I expect from the squad that we have.
You were asked a few times before the cup final if that was a distraction to upcoming league games. After the cup final, can it still be a distraction in another sense?
I get the question, but I don't think necessarily a distraction now. It's just how we react to the moment. This is going to be a key moment in our season. Of course, it can be a negative reaction if we're not careful. We have to guard against that, but it also can be a huge positive reaction. We can galvanise ourselves and use the positive, and as you said earlier, go on the wave of positivity, and that's the avenue we have to take.
Thanks, Ian. Scott, Luke, and then Lee.
How realistic do you think it is that we'll see Jamal before the end of the season, and how difficult the decision is it going to be with him post the end of the season? Because I think we've seen in the last few weeks just how big a figure and how popular a figure he is within the dressing room, and how much he's still a part of that. But he's obviously not played football for a long time, and maybe wasn't first choice before he got injured.
Yeah, I think I don't know whether we'll see Jamal before the end of the season. I don't really want to set a target on his time to return. I think he is started very light training with the squad, but that would be light, not necessarily in competitive drills. But on the drills that are non-competitive, he has joined in, and he's really good. Small steps for him. We're hoping that he can definitely be joining in and competing in training before the end of the season. Whether that ties in with the team or whether he gets there in time, let's wait and see for competitive action. But he's a big player, as you said. He's very popular. He's still a huge leader in the group. He's got a big presence. I'm delighted that he got the chance to lift the cup with the other guys, and he deserved that moment for the length of time that he's been here in the service he's given the club.
Thanks, Scott. Luke?
Right, party over time. Let's get some annoying questions going. When will you start planning for summer recruitment?
Yeah, I think, well, that's going on in the background, probably without my involvement at the moment, but that will change hopefully in the next few weeks.
When you talked about the Brentford game, I think looking back, I think you said there was a bit of soul searching went on. Can you define what thorough analysis was? Because that did feel like, as you said earlier, a really crucial turning point. Were some home truths told then?
Yeah, I think whenever not so much in terms of the general performance, but the goals we conceded that day were really uncharacteristic for us, very soft. So I think there was just some frank honesty between us all and an acknowledgement that we needed to improve. I think then we went away and trained really well in the build-up to the Leicester game and played really well, and then didn't look back really from that moment. So I believe in honest, constructive feedback to the players, whether that's individually or collectively. I think that was more of a collective reset, really.
The big weakness in this team still, that it's not quite consistent enough, that you are capable of delivering those sorts of performances. You think it's been a brilliant season, but we have seen those performances.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, Luke. I think that is the question mark against us. I include myself in that. That's the question mark against us. Can we be the team that we were against Liverpool? You're not going to be there every game. It's impossible to reach that standard, but you can still reach a standard and still win the game. And that's what we've got to try and do. We have done it. We played West Ham before we played Liverpool. We didn't play great, but we won the game through defensive steel, really. And I think it's finding ways to win games when you're not at your best, and then hopefully on the days that your performance is where you need it to be, you've got enough quality to win.
Thank you.
Okay, just a few to get through, so we can just nudge it to a couple of questions maximum each. We'll go to Lee, Craig, and then to Jordan.
Eddie, how have you guard against the sort of euphoria that's been going on in the last couple of weeks in terms of people getting swept away with the situation?
Yeah, well, I think it's just the players that I need to try and control. And as I said, I've not seen anything that suggests they've got carried away. The players have acted really, really well, I think. The training is always the gauge for me. If I look at the training and think there's a problem, the group's not focused, or then I'll make it clear. But the group's trained really well. I think we had a great training sessions this week in the build up to the game, and there's that steel and there's that focus that they know the Premier League is a brutal league. If you drop off, you'll get punished, and we're aware of that.
Just for you personally, do you feel it's been a life-changing sort of experience, or can you not go down that sort of avenue? You've got to just stick with your principles.
Yeah, no, I think we always stick with our principles. I think it's been an amazing period. I've loved every second of the experience of Wembley. Whether you win or lose is brilliant, but it's definitely a better moment if you can win there. So yeah, that's something I'll never forget. I think that the aftermath of the game Saturday I'll never forget either. But now it's very much back to putting that behind us. Remembering it, but putting it behind us, and now focusing on the future.
Thanks, Lee. Craig?
Eddie, when you changed the captaincy on the eve of the season, there was a lot of debate around it, and Bruno didn't start the season in the best form yet. You've seen his journey through the season, and arguably his two best performances of the season were the cup final and the post-parade party. Does what you've seen of Bruno in recent weeks, is that why you picked him as captain? Is that the leadership qualities you saw?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be debate when you're at a club like Newcastle when you make decisions. But I just think Bruno's really grown into the role. I think it's very difficult to suddenly adapt to the captaincy. If it's new to you, it's a game changer. I found that when I was a player, you go from being very selfish, thinking of yourself, to then having to think of the group, and that's a different mindset totally. But I think he's really taken on from the experiences that he's had. He's now speaking really well. He's always been a very good role model. I'd say he trains very well. He's the ultimate professional. He doesn't drink. He's football obsessed, and I think the other players see that. So I think we have some really good leaders. I always said this, and when I made the decision, you're not necessarily focusing on one leader of the group. Like we mentioned Jamal earlier, still a brilliant leader, although he's not fit. Dan Burn is an outstanding leader in many different ways. Doesn't wear the armband, but he leads. Kieran has been captain this season as well, and is an outstanding leader in his own right. And that's why we've been able to win the competition that we have, because we don't just have one guy that's doing it all.
And tell us the truth, what did you think of the Sandro Tonali song when Bruno started it? And did you have to explain the lyrics to your boys afterwards?
I'm still trying to understand the lyrics myself, so I'll leave it at that, I think.
Thanks, Greg. Nothing from Jordan. We'll go to Dominic.
Historically, you've ended the season very strong after the trip to Dubai, but in terms of team bonding, possibly no better sort of situation than Saturday to galvanise your squad heading into the final 10 games.
Yeah, I think the team spirit and feeling within the group's always been good. This season, the group has been. Yeah, we've got some great characters in there. The players get on, but also they've got an edge where they will tell each other if they're not happy, and they're very competitive against each other as well. So, which is what you need in training and the training ground. So, I've had no problem with the spirit of the group. Yeah, moments like Dubai can help that. I think the players are very active, very, doing different sports earlier in the week. But remember, it was a small group. 8, 9 players. That's all we had. But now we're back together. We're focused on the next match.
You touched on Jamal Lascelles' contract situation earlier, but Fabian Schär, another player out of contract in the summer. Is there any update on his situation?
I think Fabi hopefully will be signing his contract imminently, if he hasn't already, to my knowledge.
Thanks, Tom. Couple to finish, we'll go Kieran and then Martin.
Morning. Do you get the sense that the past couple of weeks have given the owners a taste for more, maybe?
Difficult to comment, really, because I haven't had sort of direct contact with the owners since the cup final. Obviously, at that night after the final, we did, but things move on. They're very busy people, so I'm sure that they would have seen things through maybe a slightly different lens, and obviously seeing the reaction of everybody at Newcastle, they will, I've no doubt, seen that, and will be hoping for more.
And what can winning something do for the club?
Well, I think it could just change his beliefs. I think it shows what is capable. I think that's important for us, that we believe, and I've never not had that belief, but sometimes people need to see it to believe it. But the competition gets harder and harder, as we know, and nothing gets easier. So our work has to be better, and I think that's all I can focus on.
Thank you. Martin, to finish, please.
Morning, Eddie.
Morning.
Nick Pope was a big call for the cup final, but it's kind of gone under the radar that he did very, very well. Do you sense a determination from him to re-establish himself as number one from this point?
Yeah, I do. I think Nick's had a difficult season with injury, and it's like any player coming back from injury. There's always depending on the situation and the length of time out, there's a period of rustiness when they come back, and I think we saw Nick in his best form the last 2 games, West Ham and Liverpool. I thought he played really, really well, and he had to, because there was big moments in those games where we needed him, and he responded. I have to say, since the cup final, he's also trained outstandingly well. He's looked in really good shape. So, fingers crossed, he's over his injury problems and he can stay fit and continue to play well.
And there's a lot of talk potentially about signing another goalkeeper. Does he remain your number one? And does he still have international ambitions at this stage in his career?
I'm sure he does. I mean, I haven't necessarily had those conversations at length with him. It's been about regaining his best form and training, everything that goes into delivering your best form. We've really tried to focus on that with him, but I'm sure he'll have his own individual aims and ambitions, and why not? For me, he's an outstanding shot stopper, and he showed that against Liverpool with his save from Curtis Jones.
Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Eddie Howe's press conference at St. James. Well, not at St. Is it the press conference at St. James Park?
Well,
No,
Park.
Training ground.
The training ground. The training ground.
The media centre.
What's the training ground named after? Who's the training ground named after? Have we named anybody after the training ground yet? Well, that's a good candidate.
Darsley Park. To be honest, I've got no idea who
Well,
Darsley is.
we got to name it. Maybe you should put your name for to put the training ground after you, Mighty Win, after you've been backing Eddie since day one.
Well, I would certainly go along with it being called the Mighty Win training ground, but
Exactly.
that wouldn't be after me. That would be after the Mighty Win.
Listen, 395 people watching. Please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Become a member if you can. That was Eddie Howe. What do we have to say, ladies and gents? A really good one. The only thing that I can say that caught my attention was when he was asked about transfers. I think his face got distorted a little bit. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it's just very quick, snappy. I haven't been a part of the conversations. I'm sure they're having them in the background, and I expect to be a part of it in the next coming weeks. Just
once
something.
my job's done, I'll get onto that secondary job.
Yeah. So listen, just something there. Maybe I just it was just me, but I noticed that out of the whole thing, which was very, a good presser to say the least. I would say.
I thought it was a good presser today, actually.
Yeah.
He told us that after the Brentford defeat, for example, that they had a thorough analysis, and of course, after they'd done that, they went on that 9-game winning run. And he also said that Liverpool form, which he acknowledged was superb, that's what we've got to hit consistently. And
the inconsistency is the issue.
That's the issue. That's right.
And he has acknowledged that.
And back on to Brentford the next day.
Yeah, back on to Brentford. Oh yeah. He wasn't asked about possibly a celebration tomorrow, or he wasn't asked that. So that would have been a good one.
We've heard specifically now on Gordon's injury, which is a bad bruise of the groin thigh area, but that he's training, so hopefully he'll be available. And unity is paramount. It's the only way to win when everybody's pulling in the same direction. Yeah. And the crowd on Saturday showed us what a privileged position we are in. We got to respect that position and reflect their passion in our performances going forward. And he reminded us that after the Man U defeat, we then won 8 out of 10 in the Prem to finish in the Champions League position as we did. And I managed to get a tick on me bingo card because he did say that Bruno, since he's been made captain, now hasn't just got to think of himself, but think of the group.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. By the way, at the end, the Fabian Schär is due to sign a new contract imminently.
Imminently. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's
interested on Lascelles as well, wasn't it? Not probably seeing him for the rest of the season, which is what we expected, to be fair.
And actually, another good question was the Nick Pope call.
Mm.
Which was as we know, a big call on the day. I wasn't particularly happy about it on the 16th. But one hell of a save he pulled off.
It was an excellent save against Liverpool. I mean, like I say, just reaction, wasn't it? Lifting their arm up.
Yeah.
And like I say, what a difference that could have made if that went in. You know, it's all literally backs to the wall, isn't it? Then, so
for a lot longer than it actually turned.
Actually took, yeah, exactly.
We got a question here from Norwich, who says, "Harry missed the start. What was the update on Botman?" There was an update on Botman.
He had this floating bone which was causing the fluid at the back of the knee, which has been removed. The potential was he's 6 to 8 weeks, but obviously he's not training with the squad. But obviously he's now he's on track. Put it that way. So
fingers crossed. Diagnosis 6 to 8 weeks, but he's already got gone through two.
Gone through to three. Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's say 5. It's still going to be 5 weeks.
Yeah, easy.
Almost season done, isn't it?
Fingers crossed we'll see him in May.
Probably the last 2 games when he'll be involved with.
Right.
Because we've got 6 games in April. That's this month is a bloody busy month, and that's
but he's
why
going to miss those, of course.
Absolutely. So
this month is this one.
I mean, having microscopic surgery, which is what he would have had to remove this small fragment, and it's really interesting to see. Like, obviously, that collision that he had on that right knee, you don't get floating bones for no reason. So there must have been a slight fracture of either the patella or the top of the tibia, which has caused the inflammation. And usually you get that from a foreign body. Like I say, sometimes with the swelling, it's either the bursa comes from the protection side of the body. It forms a fluid sac around the area to try and protect it from rupturing. But like I say, that's a pretty minor operation. And for anybody that's had minor surgery, you're usually back at work within 2 weeks. But it's different when you're playing football because obviously the impact that it has on your body, especially your lower limbs, the chances of it to have something reoccurring is big style. So 6 weeks is probably the where you'll see.
I believe Lewis Hall is out of the season.
Yeah, he's gone. I mean, he was still hobbling on the buzz, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, the lad didn't stand up at all. He was sat down for all the parade. So,
well, the form Tino's been in, are we going to miss him?
Well, again, this is what we keep saying. When you look at what Tino has had to face over the last few weeks of him filling the void, if you like, of Lewis Hall, who's had a tremendous season, he's come up against some really top quality players on that right hand side. And that's not going to change tomorrow night with Mbeumo. So if he can do a similar job on Mbeumo as he did on Mo Salah, then the lad's had
and on Bowen.
And on Bowen, yeah, exactly. I mean, he's had a tremendous few weeks, to be fair, at left back. And like you said, how lovely has it been? Not only have we had, Tino playing out of position and playing absolutely superbly, we've also had trips back at right back playing to the level that we know he can play at.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one for me. It's Trippier. Getting him back is going to be, well, he's already back, but I mean, maintaining him, it's going to be massive. Well, especially now with Lewis Hall out. I mean, although some have faith in Target, I think Livramento and Trippier are much better. I'll sleep better at night with those two on the wing. So.
You see, the only thing that worries me now is the fact that it seems to be big game mentality in certain individuals, and I'm going to mention Trips on this because we've seen Trippier play where he's made fundamental mistakes against lesser teams, but against big teams he seems to be switched on, focused, and well drilled. And I don't know whether that's more him. It's more of a mental issue, or whether it's the fact that it's just been one of those, moments in his game where he's lapsed that quality and the mental approach. So the games against these teams, like the Brentfords, we need the same type of mentality as we would do if we were facing the likes of Arsenal, Man City, and as you saw in the final, Liverpool, because the lads never put a foot wrong. And if they can continue that...
To be honest, I think Tripps's bad form, predominantly last season, because he hasn't played that much this season, really.
No, I'm saying the games that he has played.
Don't know where his head was,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's what I said. If you look at the games, who were we playing when he missed that header? He jumped under the ball, and Bournemouth, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. It seems as if teams like Brentford, like Bournemouth, where the lads have to have the right mentality and approach, the same as they would do if they were playing a Liverpool. And I think sometimes some of our senior players have stepped off a little bit, thinking...
Yeah, but again, all I would say about that incident at Bournemouth was, remember, he was playing right back, and he missed that header.
But he was playing everybody on side wing.
At left midfield. He had to run across the full distance of the park and then make a decision what he's going to do. No, he got it wrong.
Yeah, that's what I said. He was playing everybody on side, so he's tried to make up for a mistake. And that's what I'm saying. You've got to be switched on and ready for the whole thing. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You listen, we've got to stop sugarcoating it. Everybody's got to be switched on for everybody, every game now. It's a really important 10 games if they want to secure the top 4.
Yeah, that's a good point. And listen, we're going to get into the match preview later on at 2 p.m. So join us back at 2 p.m. as we talk about the Brentford game with the cool graphics that Gary's got and all of that stuff. So it's going to be a good one. Any last things from...
Yeah, graph suit for the
lads. I'm just doing it now. While I was listening to it, I was starting to do my animation. So we'll see.
Any last things, important things that Eddie Howe said today on the presser?
No, I think...
No, it was great to have an update on the injuries, to be fair, and I'm glad it was the April Fools in the chat that caught us all out at the start with a few players that were supposedly out, as I hadn't heard anything. So well done on that one. Caught us off guard a little bit. But I mean, again, it was just it's about, like we said, it's going to be more... Did you enjoy the day? Was it everything you expected? And I don't think it was what anybody expected, to be fair. And it must have been such a honour for him to see the flag of yourself up on the Sandman. You know what I mean? And like he said, the biggest problem with going to any club is getting the supporters to believe in you. As Wynne said at the start, he's virtually surpassed the Kevin Keegans and alike and the Robsons now, because he's bought something to the club. And if he can continue what he's trying to do, like I said, not many managers could have come to a club like Newcastle at the start and potentially got us 3 years into a European slot like Eddie has. And like we said, he's gone through 3 windows without any support. He's done a tremendous job. But the biggest thing for me, and I wanted to say it yesterday, but I also wanted to hear everybody else's point of view. I love the fact that there's some of those players, some of those Bruce players that have come and stayed with Eddie. Eddie's had faith in them, and they've managed through all the dross that these guys have been through. And I'm talking about like the likes of Fabian Schär, Jacob Murphy, that couldn't get in the team.
Look at the
under
subs
Bruce.
that came on at Wembley.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is
Kraft.
the long staffs. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? These are the lads that have been in the background and supported the club in the dark days. And for them to lift a trophy, for me, is magnificent.
Yeah.
Absolutely magnificent. Because it supports the cause of what they've given the club in the past without being supported by the ex-manager.
Yep, that's a very good point. And on that note, we shall be back at 2 p.m. Join us, please. Don't forget. Thank you so much for watching. Still got 260 watches, so that's amazing. Appreciate that. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We got 24/7 Newcastle United content every day here. So, join us. Don't miss out. Today, 2 p.m.
Hit that bell.
Yeah, exactly. Hit that bell for notifications. That way you get notified every time we put up a video. The highlights of Eddie Howe's presser should be coming up pretty soon as well. So we're back on the job, man. Back on track. So we'll see you at 2 p.m. folks. Exactly. We'll see you at 2 p.m., folks. Thank you
See
so
you at
much.
2.
How are the lads?
Lasses
How
and
are the
bands.
lads, and everybody else included. And here we go. We'll see you at 2 p.m., folks. Bye.